Good day, everyone. Thank you for attending today's webinar from Biamp. My name is Chris Fitzsimmons. I'm the Product Marketing Manager at Biamp for Conferencing Solutions. So today's topic is our room bundles. Biamp recently introduced a series of room bundles to use with UC solutions. And this webinar is designed to tell you a little bit about what's in them, but importantly, why we think they're different and why they should be something that you are interested in as integrators. As you know, as AV professionals, we're all in the business of producing fantastic solutions for our customers and meeting their needs of whatever they are, whether that's for quick deployments or astounding audio quality or both of those things. But we're also in business, and so it's important that the solutions that we offer you guys are there not only to give great results, but also to help you guys do well and make money as business people. And that's really one of the primary aims of our room bundles, was to create solutions that would not only be simple and effective, but also would protect your margins and help you guys to deliver profits. So these really are bundles with a purpose. I'll get into exactly what's in them shortly, but these are complete solutions for meeting spaces. The goal here is to have everything that you would need to deliver a complete audio solution for a UC equipped room. So that's a room equipped with Teams rooms or with Zoom or with Google Meet, whatever platform you're using. It's got all the necessary hardware from a Biamp audio point of view, and it also has all the cables and accessories you need, all in one easy to order SKU. The second thing to remember is that they're very focused on being fast to deploy and easy to deploy and uncomplicated. So they take advantage of Biamp's use of Cat5 cabling between all of its devices, so we call that single cable connectivity. And as well as that, we also have some cool software tools that come with the packages. We have our room deployment tool, which is used to really simplify the commissioning and programming of the system. And we also supply pre-built configuration files, so Tessera configuration files to go with these packages, to speed up the process of designing and programming. And I'll get into more detail about all of these things as we move through this presentation. The final thing to remember is that these bundles are available from Biamp at standard dealer pricing. And why is that important? Well, you'll see in many cases, including ours, that bundles are available from vendors of UC platforms. So for example, our bundles are available on the Microsoft Teams accessory store on Microsoft's website, and they're listed at a MAP or an end user price. But you can buy them directly from us as dealers using our standard dealer pricing at margins that mean you can continue to do decent business with end users that are interested in bundles for Microsoft Teams. Oftentimes you'll find that the advertised pricing for these kinds of bundles is significantly lower, or allows significantly lower margins to be made on the hardware than would normally be the case, because there's pressure to provide low pricing and compete with cheaper solutions in those same online marketplaces. But with our Biamp bundles, we have been very careful to protect the margins of our dealers and our channel. And so any of these bundles that you see advertised on UC partner websites, you'll still be able to get from us at your normal pricing and still be able to make good margins on the deal. And we'll talk about that a bit more too. So just a quick overview next of what is in our bundles. We have 4 bundles in total right now. There are 2 bundles which use our Parley ceiling microphone, one for a medium-sized room and one for a large room. Content is very similar between the two. There's just an extra mic and some extra loudspeakers for the larger space. I'll talk about room sizes in a minute. And then we also have 2 bundles offering our Parley table microphones. So if the customer has a preference one way or the other, or the project calls for a table versus a ceiling mic, we have options in both directions. Obviously, there are some differences between those 2 choices. Table mic gives you mute control on the table in the room. The ceiling mic obviously cannot. They both have LED indications of mute on the microphone themselves, whether you're in the ceiling or on the table. The nice thing obviously about the ceiling microphone is it gets clutter off the table, hides it up in the ceiling. They're pretty small, they blend in very easily, so they look great from an aesthetic point of view. Some people would argue table mics are better from an acoustic standpoint, but that always doesn't win the conversation. Anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on these right now. What I want to do is really talk to you guys about how these bundles are put together and really why they are more than just a box of gear. You know, it'd be very tempting to say, oh, hey, it's a room in a box. You know, here's a bunch of SKUs that we've bundled together, off you go. That's not the point of these solutions. They are designed to be easy to purchase and for you to not have to spend too much time figuring out what all you need in a room, but there's a lot more to them than that. And we like to call them intelligent room bundles. I'm going to go through some of these features of them here. So firstly, yes, as I've said, they are a complete audio equipment package for a UC equipped meeting room. What does that mean? It means that Biamp is able to deliver you a complete mic to loudspeaker solution. We have the complete signal chain. We're not taking most of our stuff and then adding a speaker from brand X or rebadging a microphone from brand Y. We have all the pieces of the puzzle made by Biamp. And we also include the equipment and the Cat5 cabling you need to put this all together. So you should not need to get anything else other than what's in this bundle to make an audio solution for a UC equipped space. That makes them really, really easy to budget for from a project cost control point of view and to purchase because you're only ordering one line item. The fact that we're using category cable for all of our connectivity now between all of the loudspeakers, the microphone, the amplifiers, we have our Tessera Connect network device, all of that stuff is all using Cat5. So there's no loudspeaker cabling to be terminated. You don't need any specialist cabling. You just need to be able to pull Cat5 and if you need to terminate to the right length. But we deliver you a variety of lengths of category cabling in the box. And then, of course, you know, as you'd expect from Biamp, it's our stuff. So it's a premium quality audio experience for these UC rooms. It's giving you a more elevated solution for your customer than perhaps some of the other offerings on the market with the sound bars and, you know, a small mic located at the end of the table or USB mics or that kind of thing. This really is, you know, a gold standard audio solution for these UC platforms. The next thing is that these design files that you use here are designed by us. They're built by our specialist team. So we have a great team of support engineers here at Biamp, and they develop these the design files in concert with our UC partners. So we didn't just make a generic Tessera file to use with these bundles. We actually went to each UC partner and worked with them on tweaking and approving the DSP and the AEC settings in these designs for each platform. So the package you get for a Teams room is different to the package you get from a Zoom room. Okay, so the actual AEC tuning and the filtering inside the Tessera designs is different per platform. It's tailor-made, and we've worked with those UC partners to provide the best possible solution for their particular UC platform. What that allows us to do is to remove a lot of the guesswork from a design process or from a programming process. You can get these designs from us with absolute confidence that what you're getting is both, you know, gone through our vigorous design process, but also approved by our partners. It also minimizes the amount of programming time that's required on the front end of a project. And it allows you finally to eliminate variations between rooms on different sites or in different buildings. It takes some of the subjectivity out of tuning and programming and gives you a more consistent set of tools to use. And the net of that, not only is it easier to deploy and install, it also becomes a lot easier to troubleshoot and support down the line. So if there is an issue and you do need to go back to a customer site or they have a question or a problem, you know what file's in there and you know how it's laid out because it's the standard file that came with the bundle. And then if, you know, heaven forbid, you need to escalate that to Biamp support team, you can also come to us and say, hey, we're using the medium table bundle. And here's, you know, and our support team would be very familiar with that design. They were part of designing it and building it. It makes that whole process a lot smoother. And in general, just creates a better experience for you guys and for the customer should any kind of problem arise. So we've got the package of equipment we need. We've got a pre-made tailored design file. We also have a series of intelligent tools to help you speed up the programming commissioning process. And that's really where a lot of the time saving comes in here. So the room deployment tool, which I'll talk about in a little bit, is basically there to design. It's designed to make deploying these systems as absolutely as fast as possible. We've really simplified the process of programming Tessera devices with this little tool. And that's really made it simple enough now to be done by any AV competent tech. So you don't need someone who's Tessera certified to use this tool. You don't need someone who understands all of the software ins and outs to use this tool. And that means that you can make, at least first step programming and first step commissioning of a system a lot more cost effective by using, maybe a lower level AV tech or something like to do the initial deployment of the file. But that doesn't mean that it's stupid, right? We have a great deal of power inside this tool. So one of the things it includes is a bunch of different presets for different acoustic conditions. So if you know the space you're deploying the bundle into is, of good acoustic or of excellent acoustic or a bad acoustic, you can choose that inside the deployment tool. I've got some screenshots in a minute, and I'll talk more about that. And then also in the tool are these preset configurations for the different UC platforms. And again, this allows us to remove a lot of the subjectivity from the room tuning process. So if you have 20 conference rooms that are largely the same, you can take the room deployment tool, you can use the same set of settings each time and get the same outcome. You can get consistent room deployments all the way down the corridor. There's none of this need to listen to every room and tweak it. Once you've done one room and you've got it right, you can do 6 other rooms that are the same and achieve within a margin of error excellent outcomes in all of them. Again, speeding up the process, less time on site, less cost to deliver the project to the satisfaction of the customer. So the point of this simplicity is really to deliver reproducible results. One of the most looked for things from end users in our experience with these conferencing environments is consistency. A consistently good experience is better than a mostly good experience, or occasionally extraordinary and sometimes not very good. Consistently good is better. And so we've tried to distill the process of buying these bundles and using these bundles down to some simple steps. And I'm going to talk through some of those steps just now. So firstly, we're going to talk about determining the room size. As I said up front, we have bundles for medium rooms and large rooms. What does that mean? What's a medium room? What's a large room? So we based these kind of approximate sizes on Microsoft Teams room standards. If you go on the Microsoft website, they have an excellent document about planning for end user IT management, planning how they're going to deploy Teams rooms. And in there, they define some kind of mean room sizes. And so what we've done with these medium and large bundles is tune our configurations based off the rooms of these approximate size. So their medium room is defined as 18 foot by 20, which is kind of 6 meters by 7 in size, or a head count of 6 to 12 people pre-COVID. Obviously, that's different these days. So we're talking more about room dimensions than head counts at the moment, just because the number of people in the spaces is drastically reduced. And then the large room is kind of 5 by 11 meters, roughly. So, those are not precise measurements. You can be, 5–10% either side of that, but that's what these particular bundles are tailored towards. When you talk about a medium bundle or a large bundle, they're designed to be appropriate for rooms of about that size. So having chosen the room size, I'm going to choose your mic style. I talked a little bit about that up front. We do have bundles available with either the table or the ceiling microphone inside. But you do have some choices to make, right? There is obviously the debate about aesthetics and acoustics, and some of those are a little bit subjective. I don't want a table mic, I don't want a ceiling mic, whatever the argument might be from a customer or a consultant or a design leader. But there are some practical differences between the two mics. First of all, what they both have in common is they do have the mute state LED, right? And what's important about that is that it synchronizes with your choice of UC platform. So whatever you're using, whether it's Teams or Zoom or Meet, these LEDs will synchronize with the mute state of the call. So if someone mutes in Teams, it'll be reflected in the microphone LED turning red, and if they unmute, it'll go back to green again. The differences between these two microphones then come with the functionality. So with the table mic, obviously, there's the opportunity to tap the microphone to mute, and that will turn the mic LED red, mute the call, and also tell Teams that it's muted. So you'll see that synchronized in the Teams rooms interface. Not possible with the ceiling mic, otherwise people would have to reach up to the ceiling every time. But one benefit of our ceiling microphone is that it does have the option of the integrated amplifier, which allows us to simplify the cabling and deployment of the room. So if you do go for the TCMX, the ceiling mic, there's the option to buy the TCMXA version, which we actually include in the bundle, and that makes it even easier to wire up the loudspeakers and further speeds up the deployment of the room. If you're using the table mic bundles, they come with a separate PoE Plus amplifier, the Amp 450 BP, and that's a separate unit. It's just one more device to install. So it's not a big deal, but just be aware that choosing between a table mic and a ceiling mic isn't just an aesthetic choice. There are some functional capability differences between the two. So we've chosen our room size, we've chosen our ceiling or table mic. Now we're going to order the bundle. These are the MSRPs. Just to make the point again that as dealers of Biamp, you're getting significantly less than that. That's not going to be your dealer price. Whatever your particular agreement with Biamp is will reflect that. But my point here is that these are the prices advertised on the Microsoft Store. We're not in the business of selling direct to end users, but Microsoft requires that a buy now price is made available. And what we were very careful to do is to match that price to our published MSRP. So no one is undercutting anyone. There's no opportunity here for end users to get a better deal via the Microsoft Store than they would via you. That's not going to happen. The point here also is to list out all the SKUs, right? So we have a large room bundle with a ceiling microphone, a large room bundle with a table, and the same for medium-sized rooms. I think you'll find if you compare those with other bundles on the market, they're extremely competitive for what they offer. So ordered the right bundle. Now we're going to do the installation. This is my favorite bit. This image here shows actually the conference room demo system from ISE 2020, back in the days when we were allowed to have in-person trade shows. And what this is designed to show here is how simple this is to put in. So this is an example of the large ceiling microphone bundle deployed. Obviously the room isn't quite as big as it should be for this, but it is a trade show booth. But what I want you to take away from this is how clean it is, right? There's Cat5 cabling between every single device up there. There isn't a loudspeaker cable in sight. There is no need to configure any switch or networking because we're using the Tessera Connect, which you can see in the middle tile there. That is doing all of the media networking for this deployment. It doesn't need setting up. There's no firmware to install. There's no AVB stuff or anything like that to do. It just happens. And it's also providing PoE plus power for all of those devices in the ceiling there. So the microphones are powered, the loudspeaker are passive, but the amplifier for the loudspeaker is also being powered. So everything there is being driven by the Tessera Connect. Makes it very, very simple to deploy. There's no power cabling required. It's just all Cat5. And that all runs with one line back down to the DSP, which is in the credenza. So we've really tried to hone down and simplify every step of this process, from selecting the SKU to purchasing it to now installing it. And then we get into the room deployment tool. This is the cool part, right? So, or one of the cool parts. The room deployment tool is a separate piece of software that we built to simplify the process of sending a Tessera configuration to an installed system. And when you buy the bundle, inside the box, there is a quick start guide. And that provides links to the right version of the room deployment tool based on the room size you chose, the mic type you chose, and the UC platform you're working with. So there's a series of QR codes, and those QR codes point to our support website, and that gives you step-by-step instructions. There's a really nice guide to using the system, deploying the system, and you basically get to download a zip package which contains all the system files you need. So that zip package has the room deployment tool, it has a tech note explaining the steps, and it has the pre-built Tessera file that I described to you earlier. After that, we're going to use that room deployment tool to deploy and to tune the system. So again, there's no need here to open Tessera software. At no point in this process does anyone need to use Tessera software. But what I want to make clear is that there is also nothing stopping you from doing so. So we're not taking away Tessera software. We're not dumbing down the system. If you need or want the bells and whistles that's available to you as a programmer or a commissioner or an installer using our very mature Tessera software now, it's all there. You can connect with Tessera, you can tweak anything you want. But if you don't want to do that, and you don't need to do that because it's a square room and there are 50 of them and you've done 25 already, the room deployment tool is there to really, really accelerate the process of getting up and running and passing audio and making sure everything's good. So what do we do? First of all, we're going to open up that deployment tool, runs in Windows, connect it to the network or connect it to the Tessera Connect, and it's going to scan and it's going to see all the devices it can. And you're going to verify that those devices are indeed the ones that supposed to be part of that system. So you're going to see serial numbers, you're going to see device names. The next step is to choose a name for the room, which in Tessera terms is basically giving the system file a name. So in this case, we're going with the MTR medium meeting room. It could be room 123 or 456 or whatever you want to do, but that's the point here, is to identify that system. And then we're going to click deploy. And it's done. At that point, a file has been loaded to the Tessera system and you are off to the races. Audio will pass, things will work. You can, smoke test the room at that point. But there is one more step, which is the tuning step. So if we go from what we had there, which is the deploy tab at the top there, to the setup tab, there's a series of 4 very simple options. There's the volume, room acoustic, noise reduction, and echo reduction. And what does that mean? So volume, it's just output level, okay? Room acoustics, that's where you choose how good the room sounds. So is it good acoustic? Does it have glass panels everywhere and a shiny table? What does it feel like? Are there some plants? So you can choose between poor and perfect acoustics. If you're unsure what that means in practical terms, we have recordings on Cornerstone, which is the Biamp support website, support.biamp.com, of all of these acoustics. So you can go there and listen to a room that sounds, in our opinion, poor, and one that is perfect, and one that is good, and decide where in that range your rooms fit. So you can kind of experience that. We also have the ability to adjust the noise reduction and also to adjust the strength of the AEC. So all of these things, very, very simple compared to poking around in blocks in Tessera software, and absolutely good enough to get a room up to a acceptable standard for use. If you do encounter something out of the ordinary, like a funny shaped room, of course you can go back to Tessera and you can play with things, but the goal with the room deployment tool is to get you up and running as quickly as possible and provide just enough capability to tune the system effectively. Final step, profit. We are in business, okay? And it's important to Biamp that we help our partners continue to make good money and do good business, even in the face of, low cost solutions and IT solutions and that kind of thing. So yes, we do publish a buy now price for our bundles, but that buy now price is our MSRP, and having the map and the MSRP the same leaves room for our integrators to command their normal margins. I keep banging on about it, but it's really important. If you look at several of the other bundles out there in the marketplace today, you'll see that the price you see advertised from UC partner stores is significantly lower than MSRP, which leaves you guys in a difficult position, because you're now, instead of enjoying maybe 40 or 50 points of margin from MSRP, you're enjoying 20 or 30 points of margin, and that makes it very, very tough to effectively do business. We don't want, and we don't need the UC revolution to become a reason for everyone to sacrifice margins and for businesses to suffer. There's no need for that. So we're committed to being competitive and committed to having the right solutions for our channel partners like you guys, and hopefully this set of bundles goes some way to showing that. So just a quick summary of the message here. Really, we've focused on the gear margin, we're focused on deployment speed, and both of those things together allows you guys to deliver profitable projects, even in tough economic conditions, under pressure from IT solutions and big box accessory vendors that are going great guns and making accessories for things like Teams and Zoom and Meet. The good news is for us, as as AV professionals, there's lots of those solutions are focused around smaller rooms. And so when you're looking for a bigger room solution, like a medium room or a large room, the UC bundles from Biamp are really intended there to be that best possible solution for those great rooms that traditionally would have had high quality audio. We're not talking about small huddle rooms here. We're talking about decent sized meeting rooms with significant AV needs and complex acoustic environments. So summary, all the gear you want, all the gear you need, pre-built configuration files, the room deployment tool, and the pricing to protect your margins. All of this is designed to add up to profitable projects, right? We're saving time on the purchasing, we're saving time on installation, saving time on the programming, saving you time on the commissioning. And really, I hope that delivers what you guys want, which is opportunity to continue to drive revenue, to deliver satisfactory projects for your customers, and to do great business. So that's the meat of the content here. Again, thank you very much for attending today. We really appreciate your time. Any more questions, please reach out directly to Biamp, support@biamp.com or info@biamp.com, or to your Biamp sales representative, whoever looks after you. We're always here and happy to help. Thank you very much indeed, guys, and you enjoy the rest of your day.